Look, it gives Celtic options. I think that's the most important thing, because, Ange is someone that he believes in playing a certain style of football, but he can flip that easily enough, whether it be a 4 at the back or whether it be a 3. I agree with you, Sean. Kyogo, for me, has to play through the middle. I just felt that was probably a bad decision. I know Ange's come out and admitted it in terms of the Old Firm game. He had to play through the middle, which meant that he had to leave Edouard out, in my opinion, and because he's already set up a really good combination with Tommy Rogic. But his pace, his cleverness, his movement within the box in central areas. Look, Rangers would have been delighted that it was out wide. You've touched on the game that you've just seen now. Oman would have been delighted as well. But the 2 up top, not many teams do it nowadays, isn't it? Because it's not the modern day. It's not the modern day game. And
play 2 up. I would always like to play 2 strikers.
Yeah.
Many great partnerships over the years.
You played a lot of the time as a second striker, which is kind of like what they call the 10 nowadays, Simon. But if you play against,
I think it'd be exciting. I think likes at Ange, him better than myself, but I think attacking wise, I think he might just go with the 2 up top. I think. I agree with you, and I agree with Sean the caller about Kyogo playing more through the centre. You only look at the change at the weekend, and all of a sudden he's in that inside left kind of route down the side of the centre back for the 2 opportunities where I think he maybe gets round the wrong way.
Yeah, he does.
He shoots where he should cross and vice versa. But what I've seen in the early movement of the guy, the games that they demolished Dundee and St Mirren, he's always wanted to get in behind. And see that for a midfielder, I played with a guy, George Cadet, and that's all he wanted to do, go in behind, and it makes your job as a midfielder a joy, because he's telling you where he wants it, and it's little slide balls down the side. And I think that's what this guy brings to Celtic. And you look at his goals as well, getting it in on the end of crosses. I don't think Edouard was ever that kind of striker. He'd always want to come to feet. But this guy wants to get in there and where it matters, and he's scored a few goals like that already.
And with that movement, it actually creates, so obviously
space.
Defenders want to drop off, because they know the type of movement and where he wants to get to, which gives Rogic a space, or any player that then plays in that hole, and it's kind of worked really, really well for Celtic. And again, I'm going back like when I was a young lad learning and playing against Ravanelli and Vialli up top, right? And the way that they moved and worked together was incredible. Because they just get their angles right.
Yeah. That wasn't when Ravanelli was at Dundee, was it?
No, definitely. Well, that was a different Ravanelli in terms of where he was at.
I didn't dream that. Ravanelli did play for Dundee at some stage.
Well, so did Caniggia as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously ends up at Rangers.
And Georgie Nemzadze. And
loads.
That kind of stuff must give...
A great squad.
That stuff must give defenders a headache when you want to go in there, because for guys, I wasn't great at it. I always wanted to try and come to feet, but it makes, I think, the defender's job easier, because he can see the game and he can see you. Whereas these guys that want to go in that way, it must be an absolute nightmare. Should I track him? Who's got him? And I think Kyogo, certainly in his infancy at Celtic, has brought a real movement and a real energy to the team. So it'll be interesting to see how
it goes.
The great guy fills in.
Tell Alexa to launch Go Radio or listen on the Go Radio app.